over 1,000 videos to help you learn. And today, I just want to shout out a quick sponsor, me, to you, to tell you to stop caring about what everybody else got to say, put input on, or try to influence you over. At the end of the day, you're the hero in your own story, man, and you can write it how you want. So some of the things that will hold you back in life is listening to other people and filling your inner circle with the wrong people. And I was a victim of that myself. For instance, I start the YouTube channel. People in my own friend group, not my close friends, people in my friend group, man, that looks so dumb. Why are you doing that? Why are you putting yourself out there like that? And then even internally, like, why are you spending all this money on the cameras? Why are you spending all this money on the editing? All this other stuff, right? People are asking these things. It's because despite all the competition that was out there, despite what anybody else had to say, despite what anybody else was doing, I didn't care. All right. I knew that I would get to 100,000 subscribers. I was sure of it. I was convinced of it as if I am convinced of anything else like breathing. I knew that I would do it, right? I felt the same way about the shop. You know, it's like I had that goal that in 1 year I would leave this factory, and in 1 year I would have the shop. That's to explain to you guys. I had a lot of financial factors that I won't really go into too deeply, but they were holding me back. But I didn't let them, right? For a while I did, but I really didn't let them. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Internally, I knew that I could do it. Internally, I was convinced of it, and there was no talking me out of it. And I knew in 1 year, I didn't know where the location was. I didn't know all the other stuff I didn't know. But it was like blind faith that led me there. And I wound up doing it in less than 1 year. I got my entire clientele back that I lost from going to the factory. I found my shop. I bought the shop, and I began working at the shop. And that's like 4 things that happened just on blind faith. So while some of you guys are worried about what everybody else thinks, you're worried about what everybody else says, worried about what your inner circle says, other people are just completely convinced that they could do certain things. And there's no talking to them. I guarantee you, if you listen to Chris Boncio, he would tell you the same thing. He knew that he was going to make 245 a big success. He knew that 6-figure barber was going to be a big success. He was convinced of it, I'm sure of it, before many other people on his team were. And once you become sold on yourself, once you become sold on a product, that's when you start selling it. For instance, let's say you're at the shop, you're trying to sell some bullshit product that you don't like, you know it doesn't work, and you're just trying to make some money on it. Well, you're not sold on the product, so you're not going to sell the product very well. It's like these guys that sell life insurance and all this other stuff. Some of these guys really believe in it. They really believe that if something happens to you, it would be great to have some extra money for your family, right? They believe in that deeply, and they see that as a noble mission. And because of that, they're completely sold on their product. If you're not sold, get sold. And if you're not sold on yourself, you need to find a way to get sold. Do things that make you proud. You know, one of the things that I recently read was, do today what you'll be proud of tomorrow. And I'll just give you like a little example was, okay, it's about time to go to bed. Pretty late. And you start getting a hunger for some Oreos. That's my vice. I like Oreos. Thumbs up the comments if you like Oreos. But you smash a whole bunch of Oreos and then you go to bed. Now you wake up in the morning, stomach's not quite right. You did good eating the rest of the day. You worked out everything, and you just think, why did I throw it away right at the end of the day? I'm not proud of what I did yesterday. So you do things today that you'll be proud of tomorrow. So I wake up this morning, I work out. I think about that tomorrow. I say, man, I'm glad I worked out. I'm glad I did these things. Good morning, Neil. So I'm reading this book about Guns N' Roses. It's written by Steven Adler. He was the drummer of Guns N' Roses. For those of you guys who don't know, what up, really? For those of you guys who don't know, they were one of the biggest rock bands that kind of fell apart like very shortly after they got started in the grand scheme of things. But they had some major hits and they had some major momentum, and they really could have been one of the biggest bands of all time. much bigger than they really were. But one of the things that was really interesting in that was when they started their rise to fandom, I should say famous rise, when they started to have all these fans and they just really started blowing up, it was time to sign the contract, and they had to figure out who would get paid what. And out of all the members who were going to get paid, obviously, Axl Rose was the lead singer, and he wanted to get paid more than the rest of the band. Now, if you think about it, it's kind of shitty, but it kind of isn't also. So he wound up getting 25%, where the rest of the members got 20%. My question to you guys is that fair? It's probably not fair, but at the end of the day, he is the face of Guns N' Roses. He is the sound that you hear. He's what makes that connection. The voice, even though the rest of the band works equally as hard to build what they're trying to build. And many times he didn't even show up to the studio for sound check. He was nowhere around. He liked to have them do the music, send it to him, and then he'd write lyrics to it, which kind of makes sense. But at the end of the day, is it fair? And I'm going to say no, it's not fair. And at the end of the day, if you're teaching your kids that life's going to be fair to them, that it's always going to be roses, since we're talking about Guns N' Roses, nice boat, so that it's always going to be Guns N' Roses, it's not, right? And you got to prepare for some of the hardships that are going to come your way, especially in the beginning, especially when you're changing directions, especially if you're working at a company that you have this perception of security. Let's say me, it was the factory. Maybe you, it's CVS. Maybe you work at a golf course. Maybe you're doing something that you just don't want to do, right? But it provides this false sense of security because you get a weekly or a bi-weekly check. Maybe you get health insurance. That's a big reason why people don't do things that they want to do in this country, because the health insurance is so expensive, right? So they're saying, I'll stay working at this bullshit job that makes me unhappy, that's probably taking years off my life, just so I can have this health insurance that I'm definitely going to need as a result of working here, because I'm just not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not waking up ready to go. You know, when you wake up and you want to go to work, like I'm excited to go today, guys. I've been traveling, I've been doing shows, I've been moving around, and I'm excited to just get behind a chair, cut some hair, and do what got me started here in the first place. And when you're doing a job that you enjoy, and you might not enjoy this, that's fine, but when you're doing a job that you enjoy, getting out of bed, getting up to the shop, getting, you know, just getting started with your day, whether it's Monday, whether it's Sunday, whether it's Saturday. I don't get it, man. A lot of you barbers don't want to work Saturday, and that's not smart, because think about it. Let it sink in. When are all your clients off? Most of your clients are working 9 to 5s, Monday through Friday. When are they available? They're available Saturday and Sunday. Most Saturdays, you'll make twice what you make on a weekday in less time. So that's one of the things too, man. You're new, you're building. You want to make sure that you're there on Saturdays. You probably want to come Sundays too. And you want to start moving these people to the rest of the week. Saturday's the day to make the loop. That's right, Neil. That's right. Really, really, Indiana in the house. I gotta get back to Indiana. I gotta get back to Indianapolis. Maybe next year. Let's see if I do another show in Fort Wayne. That'd be pretty cool. So, at the end of the day, if I got a client, I got a comment yesterday that was kind of, I don't know, it kind of hit me a little bit. It was somebody on my live from yesterday. He said basically, I always wanted to be a barber, but I'm like 50 years old, and you know, he feels like it's too late. How is it ever going to be too late to do something that you want to do? And how is it that those 50 years of whatever you did are not going to help you here? You're going to be more mature. You're going to approach this a little bit differently. You're going to have patience. He said it was a young man's game. I don't think it is. I think a lot of these young men are fucking feminine. I think they're afraid to work. I think they think the world should just get handed to them because their entire life has been nothing but convenience. They got a question? Pull up a phone. Google it. They need something? Ask somebody for something. They get it. Every single thing for a lot of this younger generation has been handed to them on a silver platter. I mean, these kids can't even get into fights in school anymore. They get thrown out of the school for one fight. When we were younger, that happened all the time. I think it was a good thing because at the end of the day, we learned to respect each other. We learned not to talk to each other unless we wanted it to result in something like that. We learned how to talk to each other. We learned how to communicate. And most of all, we learned that life was not fair. And I think that is a big thing, man, because a lot of these people that get into this business, they get into school and they quit. They get out of school and they quit. They have honestly, they have a great future ahead of them, and a lot of them cut it off right before they even get to the point where they can really start to enjoy what this is supposed to be all about. It's not going to be fair. There's going to be barbers that are busier than you. There's going to be barbers that are better than you. There's going to be clients that like you for no reason and like other people for some other. You never know. It's chemistry. So when you go into the shop and you get jealous because a client left you and went to somebody else, was your business going to be predicated on one single customer? If you thought that, you were going to fail anyways. So your business you need to have 200 to 300 customers, depending on how frequently they visit your shop. I'm in the shop about a month ago. Mind you guys, there goes a Cybertruck whizzing by. Kind of funny looking. How can I put a four-wheeler in the back of that? But I'm just watching these newer barbers come out and not even give it a chance. And when you get jealous about a single customer walking out, that's dumb. Now, I'm in the shop the other day, and I got a customer that walks in. I never cut his hair before. Finished cutting his hair. He loves it. He says, I want to come once a week. I'm booked in. I could set weekly repeating appointments. So I don't even have to like do anything. It's simple. So for the rest of my year, 52 weeks, I have him coming. That's an excellent customer. And being in the shop is how you get those potential customers. A lot of these Spanish guys, man, they want to get their hair cut weekly. A lot of people like to get their hair cut weekly, but it seems like the Spanish crowd, they really like to keep it tight. Weekly or bi-weekly. But you never know who's going to walk in the shop. And them days that you say, oh, I'm not busy. I don't got nobody today. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to try to make some progress on something. When really you're just going to go home, piss around, play video games, and do nothing. You're not going to hand out cards. You're not really going to do much. And a lot of you guys are in a hurry, especially these young guys are in a hurry to go home and drink, go home and party. Like, can't that wait? What's more important to you? Is it more important that you go home and get yourself screwed up? Or is it more important that you build a future? Because one day it's going to sneak up on some of these young guys, but one day they're going to have a family. One day they're going to have kids to look after. One day they're going to have to, and you don't want to be that guy that started to try to figure it out the moment his family got here. Like, oh my God, I'm having a son. I better start doing something. Oh my God, I got a family. I better start supporting them. Your role as a husband, as a father, is to support your family. And they got to come first over every damn thing you do. At least that's how it is for me. Who else are we doing this for if not for our families? The Marine Corps, do they fight for the country? They fight for their brothers. They fight for the people around them. They don't care what the politics are that got them there and all this other shit. They're fighting for the people that got them there. Just like you should be fighting for your family, just like you should be making it better for them. So when you don't want to do something, sometimes I think it's helpful to think of that. We had a situation one time with this golf tournament. This is my son. And I mean, he almost won a really, really big tournament. I couldn't believe how well he did, but I felt like I got kicked in the stomach when he messed up on the last hole. Cost us the whole tournament. He's crying, everything like that, right? Now I know how he feels because I feel exactly the same, right? The rug just got ripped out from underneath him. He had an opportunity to do something big, and it's not going to come again for a long time. Not in this sport. Other sports you get to win, but in golf, you're by yourself out there. And winning, when there's 200 people around, it don't come around very often. So we both know the opportunity that was missed. But I let him sulk for a little while. About 45 minutes later, we're driving home. And I say to him, I said, listen, man, I want you to remember something. He said, what, Dad? I said, I want you to remember how you feel right now. I want you to never forget how this feels right now. So the next day when you practice, the next day when you decide, yeah, this is enough, I'm done. The next day when you decide, I think I'm good on all that. I'm not going to practice putting. I'm not going to practice chipping. I want you to remember this day. I want you to remember what it felt like. And I want you to go the extra mile. You could use these things to break you, or you could use these things to push you, but that's up to you. You get to write your own story at the end of the day. So you could sit back and it's poor me, I lost, or you could sit back and you could get pissed and you could realize I could have worked a little harder. I could have pushed a little further. I did have the time. I made up excuses. That's what all of these people who really tend to achieve a lot, they all have this in common. They use their failures to drive them. Their success, it means very little to them, a lot of them, because to them, they're not there yet. Some people get there and they're like, yeah, I want to party. This is great. I'm right where I wanted to be in life. Don't think for a second that the day you finally achieve that goal, I'm going to tell you something about it. The day I wanted a barbershop since I started doing this in 2003. I wanted to own my own shop, right? I wanted it more than everything. And in a way, for a while, the goal was unrealistic. But once it became more realistic, more manageable, and I finally achieved it, I don't want to say it's hollow, but it is kind of hollow because you get it and you're like, this is it? This is all it is? What's next? And that's the same way the Guns N' Roses felt when they became famous. This is it? What's next? What do we achieve from here? It happens with a lot of people who finally achieve this goal that felt unrealistic for a while. But now it is realistic. Now it's in reach. Now it's real. And now you get it. And that's why you got to have these goals that go beyond the things you think are possible, because you will achieve them when you start to really believe, when you start to really get sold on yourself. That's when it starts to happen for you. And at the end of the day, once you achieve that, you wind up moving on and you start looking for something different. And, you know, that's the beauty of this whole thing is if you believe you're going to fail, if you believe it's not possible for you, if you let things like maybe you got a bankruptcy, maybe you got some kind of bullshit, maybe you got some bad credit, maybe you're just telling yourself a bunch of fucking lies that aren't true. Whatever it is, you are the one who's got to figure this out. Because at the end of the day, life ain't fair. And it ain't going to figure itself out for you. And ain't nobody coming to help you. I mean, that's what you got to learn. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this live on the way to work, man. I woke up ready to go. It's actually my son's birthday. And today, I'm looking at it like life better right now. So, I got a busy day ahead of me. Shout out to Booked In, the sponsor of today's video. You guys can head over to bookedin.com/Eddie. Redeem your offer for 50% off your first 3 months. And another little funny feature is they added a feature that lets you block clients that are habitual offenders, whether they be late, whether they be not showing at all. Smash a thumbs up if you guys are enjoying the gems. I'll catch you guys in the next video. 1,000 videos to help you learn. YouTube Barber Academy.